All right, guys, welcome in to Form Friday, episode number 12. And today we're going to be going over how to do a perfect push-up and the three variations that are going to get us there. So I'm going to go over the different variations. And I know a lot of you guys are doing these push-ups in different forms, right? So I'm going to go over pretty much what's going to lead up to it. Kind of how we went over the exercise to get to a pull-up, very similar to that. So we're going to go over specifically how to get up to doing a regular push-up from your feet, from your hands, from the floor. All right, I know it's not easy for everybody, so we're gonna go from the beginning. But first, you guys need to know what a push-up actually looks like. So we're gonna go down here to the floor. Very simple, all right? I think most of you guys probably understand this, but if you don't, here are the very simple things you need to understand, right? There's three specific things. Number one, when you're coming here, hands and feet, and we do a push-up, right? This would be what it looks like, all right? Down here all the way and come right up. Down here all the way, come right up, all right? One of the most common mistakes is you're not bracing your stomach correctly, or you're just not strong enough to maintain a neutral spine as you go down in the push-up, right? So you're here, right? Your belly's popping forward here. You got a Donald Duck booty here, and you're going down like this. You're kind of doing this thing, kind of like a worm, right? That is not how you do a push-up. You want to maintain that stomach brace. Your belly's good, so you'll see my spine here. This is not good. This is where we want to be at right here. Maintain that and press. Think about it as a moving plank, all right? That's the first thing. Brace the belly. Number two is having your hands in the right spot. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people do push-ups, right? And their hands are way up here above their shoulders, and they're kind of doing this. That is so common right here, right? When they're doing this thing, you're not working the proper muscles. You're probably going to injure yourself. And to be honest, you're better off doing a different form of the push-up, which I'll show you here in a second, some modifications. So you want to make sure that your hands, when you start off, if you're going to like push somebody, I know not everyone's violent, like myself, all right? Just kidding. But is that if you're going to push somebody away from you, right? Or say you're going to fall down on the floor, how would your hands be, right? Imagine that. And if you can't, then, anatomically, you want to have, like bring your hands together. They want to end up around this lower, around the lower chest area. So like just above the top part of your abs, right? So for ladies, you could say around the nipple line, but we're all made differently, all right? So at the end of the day, you want to be about right here, just below the chest, just above the abs, right? So that's where you want to be right here with your hand placement, and that's going to allow you to make sure that you're working the proper muscles. Because if you come down here, you're stretching out your chest, right? And as we talked about in past videos, the muscle that's being stretched the most is typically the muscle that's getting activated the most as well, okay? So right here, right here. Keep the belly braced. Last but not least, is you want to make sure that your elbows are in the right spot. Because you can have your hands in the best spot too here, but if your elbows are flared out here, that's going to be way too much pressure on the shoulders, and it's not going to hit the right muscle group. So you want to make sure that you're somewhere. And also number two is if you ever have your elbows in right here, like hugging your torso, hugging your lats as you go down, you're going to work a lot more of the triceps than anything else. So what you want to do is find the happy medium, okay? So you don't want to be up here with your elbows, and you don't want to be in here with your elbows, right? So you can keep your elbows here or here. You want to be right in between, okay? You want to be right in between there. That's going to give you the most leverage. That's going to help you to work equally the triceps and the chest. It's going to keep you safe. Last but not least, one thing that is just an extra is you don't want to shrug, okay? So a lot of that comes up about it. You don't want to end up shrugging here like this when you're doing your push-ups. All right, again, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the shoulders as well. So again, talk about bracing the stomach, talk about hand placement being around that lower chest area. Number three, talking about where your elbows are at, okay? And last, number four is the bonus, is don't shrug your shoulders as you come down. Keep your shoulder blades down and back. Imagine you're trying to create space between your shoulders and your ears throughout the motion, okay? Now that's very hard, okay? I said that like it's very easy, but if you're just starting off in fitness, or you're somebody who doesn't really have a background in fitness or athletics, that's not going to be easy, okay? So I'm going to go through some of the best transitions to get to that perfect push-up, all right? So the first one would be here. Very simple, very, straightforward. You get down in this push-up position, and yes, you go from your knees. You literally just drop your knees straight down, okay? Right here, and now we're doing push-ups. Now, this one is going to be challenging to brace the belly, all right? But this is going to be the most easy carryover from doing this exercise to doing this exercise, okay? It's the easiest carryover. It's direct line of resistance, just like the push-up, you're going up, because the second modification, right, which I'll be honest, depending on what's harder for you, um, depending on what's harder for you, like if it's harder for you to use your like whatever the I'm sorry guys, this is a little bit sloppy video, but as far as what's weaker, I guess is what I mean to say. If your upper body is weaker, then that's going to be challenging for you. If your core is weaker, then that's going to be a little bit more challenging for you. If you want to come here though, right, for the second modification from a bench, this is going to be easier on your upper body, but it might be harder on your core, right? Because now we're changing the direction of resistance. It's more of a diagonal versus a straight vertical, all right? So this is not a direct carryover to a push-up, but it's pretty similar, okay? And this is going to take a lot of the pressure off your upper body. So I guess I would say if you're having trouble with the upper body portion of it, if you just really struggle because your upper body isn't where it needs to be, this would be the best carryover for you, okay? If it's your core, I would personally say go here because you're shortening the base of support, like the legs on the base support, your arms and your knees, right? If you're here, it makes it harder, right? So you can't really go from your knees. You could go from your knees on here, but that's really, you're not going to get much work out of that, right? But if you're here on your feet, it's going to be hard for your core to brace because you have such a wider, distance right there. That's the second thing. The third thing, okay, the third modification you can do outside of doing a perfect push-up is quite simple, all right? It's quite simple, but it's going to work different target muscles, all right? And that would be the close grip push-up. And I would say do it from your knees. You could do it from your knees, or you could do it on that table, chair, whatever stable surface it is. But that is going to be basically right here, okay? So your hands, if you can't see it, instead of being here, all right, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, like we did in that first one. I guess I didn't mention that, right? The height is just as important as the width, right? So if you have your hands at that lower chest, upper ab area, right, but they're way far in here, you're going to be working the tricep. If they're out here, you're going to be working more of the chest, right, because you're getting more of a stretch here. If you're coming in here, there's more of a stretch on your tricep, less of a stretch on your chest, right? So if I put my hand here, I'm not getting any stretch, but I'm getting a ton of stretch right here on my tricep. So that'd be the other variation as well. Hands come in about right at the chest muscles, right at the pecs. Right there, you come down, elbows are in tight, and this is going to help majorly on your upper body strength, right? Because you're getting such a big stretch on those triceps. You're still working the chest, just not nearly as much, and you press right up right there. You can go from your knees, all right, or you can go here to the higher surface, same thing. So that is how I would definitely say you want to go when it comes to kind of transitioning. You could start on your knees. You could start on this higher surface. You could start close grip, whichever one you prefer. But I would try those out, see which one you can do at least 10 reps of, and stick with that, 2-3 sets. Then maybe you progress to the feet. Maybe you progress to your hands being closer. Make it a little bit more challenging for you. But hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. And happy Form Friday.